I'm excited about being here again. The last time we spoke about my emergence into pure positive energy and how that was related to my upbringing with the religion, Islam. And basically, I have a kind of another question to piggyback on that. I saw an interview a couple weeks ago with Dr. Wayne Dyer was talking about with Oprah how he had became ill. I think it was leukemia or something. And he basically turned to a doctor in Central America or South America who did some sort of energy healing with him from across the continent. And one of the prerequisites for this distant surgery, basically, he was in Hawaii and the doctor was actually in South America, was that he took some certain minerals before the surgery and that he couldn't eat pork. And I know that in Islam and in Judaism, pork is a big no-no. And I'm really concerned right now with my energy moving and growing and so forth. Are there certain foods and things like that would...
Well, the prerequisite for that alignment is expectation and belief. So if someone who you believe is offering you something of value and they suggest a behavior that you believe and apply and then expect, then there is alignment. But you have to know, if you had the ability to examine all of the recoveries and all of the variety of all of the methodology, you would find such diversity in it that you would understand that it cannot be about the action. Okay. Now, we've been talking all day here about the grid filling in, and that when you have accomplished a vibration that is in alignment with who you really are, that then different things will come to fill in the grid. And so that's why a different doctor with a different methodology, that's why all of them are appropriate under different vibrational grid conditions. You see what we're getting at?
Yes. So, and I know that there's supposed to be like a shift in energy going on in, I guess, this current decade of energy, and I'm definitely a part of that because I know that I am God's source incarnated.
Yes. And
my life is beautiful and it's perfect and everything is just going wonderful, and I live everything that you're teaching, and I thank you for that clarity, helping me get there. And I just wanted to make sure that I was in alignment with that lining up of understanding that each one of us have our own, I guess, creating force for stuff like that, because I'm hearing all kinds of things about how certain foods and things can affect our ascension.
Let's start in another place about this. So we have established today, and you are vibrationally up to speed with it, this concept that you are a vibrational offerer, and that what you offer is coming back to you. And we've made it easier and easier to understand as we talk about this vibrational basis, and we call it the grid. And then when you get your thoughts around the idea of the grid filling in, that once you establish a basis that the grid fills in, isn't it logical that there could be all kinds of different people wanting and having all kinds of different experiences that are offering essentially this basic vibrational grid of well-being, and that depending upon what's in their vortex, it would fill in perfection to each individual.
Okay, so we're all on point then.
So what makes it confusing for people is that you want to examine everyone's vortex, or even more, you want to examine everyone's manifestations, and you want to determine once and for all, what are the appropriate manifestations? What are the appropriate actions? What should we eat? What words should we say? What mantras should we offer? Where should we live? And that's going about it in a backwards manner, because from this buffet of potential grid filling in, there is this basis that will fill in with the variety that is appropriate to each individual given what their life has caused them to put into the vortex.
I love that. I love that I can put my head in the sand and ignore the rest of the world and still feel the joy and the glory of just being one with Source.
Well, you don't necessarily even want to put your head in the sand because you'd miss a lot of good stuff.
No. I still say aware. But you know what I mean.
But you do want to ignore the unwanted, negative. Because attention to the unwanted will activate a grid that will fill in with things that you don't want. And so this has been a very good discussion here today, hasn't it?
Yes.
Because you're coming to understand that the diverse world,
yes, my life is not without contrast. I love it. I marvel in it. It is.
It makes you feel this conscious awareness of the okayness with the different choices that people are making.
Absolutely.
And it takes away from you the feeling of need or responsibility to get everybody to behave so that you can observe a better world.
Yes.
And it puts you in this powerful place that you know from your God position that there is value in everything, and that out of the contrast comes true goodness, and that you can align with that goodness and it will continue to reflect in many different ways in your life experience.
Amen. I love it.
It's nice to be in a position where you can, from your core perspective of feeling your rightness and your goodness, then watch the universe deliver to you with such specifics the details that you've been carving out along your way.
Every single manifestation. Boom, 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 boom.
And when you are no longer comparing the details of your grid filling in with the details of somebody else's grid filling in, worrying about the rightness or the wrongness of yours or theirs, but instead you accept the perfection of it as it fills in. Now you've got something that you can live and teach to the...
And my teaching, that's another thing though, because I do, I'm open to whoever's asking, just as you say, I don't try to push it on anyone. And then another thing is when I'm counseling and helping someone, I feel this incredible energy flowing through me, and it's almost like that show Touched by an Angel. I feel the lighting up of me when I'm talking to him, and I feel like I want to say, God has sent me to tell you this, and so forth.
Well, those would be accurate words.
Yes, that's what it feels like.
But along with the word God, you could say, all those who love you, who are now non-physically focused, who have been aware of everything that you've been asking for, and who are aware of this powerful moment, have offered impulse and inspiration to you and to me to cause us to rendezvous in this moment so that we can have this conversation in order to confirm to each of us the perfection of that which we both are. In other words, that's what's going on. Rendezvous after rendezvous after rendezvous after rendezvous after rendezvous that's been inspired from that broader perspective. Humans have often come to a place where you have decided to pinch yourself off from the resources that are available to you. And when you open yourselves back up to these resources that are plentiful around you, that's when you restore yourself to your natural state of worthiness. And that's really when the fun really begins.
Yes, I
because,
feel that.
Because it isn't fun to stumble on good stuff as much as it is to want it and intend it and practice the vibration of it and then allow it into your experience. Deliberate creation is ever so much more delicious than creation by default.
Yes. How do we fight the crazy, the outsiders making you feel a little crazy? I mean, I'm sure Esther had a hard time in the beginning explaining to people that she's channeling Source. and, and
She
so
spent
forth.
no time trying to explain that to anyone because it was uncomfortable in the first attempt at explaining. She discovered early on that anyone who's not in the vibrational vicinity cannot understand anything that she's saying anyway. It's like trying to teach calculus to an infant.
Right.
They're not interested and don't need to be. And so she came to trust that law of attraction would bring those who were ready. Her greatest discomfort was listening to someone who she was pretty sure understood try to explain it to someone else.
Right.
And she knew that they weren't having any of it, and she could tell what they were conjuring in their own mind was not pleasing to them and not beneficial to them. It was more the discomfort that it caused them that bothered her more than anything.
Right.
Because
you know exactly when they're not
it
on
made
track.
it made no real difference to Esther. But then somewhere along the way, Esther discovered that everyone she meets, she is meeting because law of attraction has lined them up in some way. So she's begun recognizing that every rendezvous is a grid filling in. So there's something that is wanted that she is open to. And so, like you, she finds herself just, sometimes it's just a smile. Sometimes there are no words even exchanged. But you never rendezvous with anyone that there is not some grid filling in.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
We've enjoyed
that.
this.
Thank
Yes.
you.
We have enjoyed this interaction a lot. The greatest pleasure that we've taken from this particular gathering today is the movement in your individual grids that we have witnessed you experiencing. You are now consciously aware of something that you were not consciously aware of before, which means what's coming up for you next is going to be way more fun than anything that has come before. There isn't anything that you need to do and not anything that you should do. There's not anything that if you leave it undone will cause any distortion in the universe, because everything is unfolding just the way that you knew it would. You established a grid when you made the decision to come into this physical body that is vibrating and attracting perfectly. You don't need to worry about those who right now don't seem to understand deliberate creation or don't understand about law of attraction. You don't even need to worry about people who are negative or even people that you think are really, really bad. You don't need to worry about them harming you, and you don't need to worry about them harming others, and you don't need to worry about the harm that you think that they might be doing to themselves. There is nothing broken in this world that deserves your attention to try to fix. You didn't come forth as healers or fixers or solvers of problems. You came forth as creators. You came forth with this understanding that the variety that surrounds you would inspire you to new ideas. And you knew that in the allowing of the new idea that there would be a richness and an exhilaration to the experience. That really is what you came for. Sometimes you feel like, well, it has to be more than that. It has to be more than my personal satisfaction. I need to do something that is more meaningful, something that will help more people. And we say, there is nothing more meaningful and nothing that will help more people than you understanding your own personal basis of vibration and tending to it deliberately, so that you can demonstrate with ease and grace and consistency the goodness of your life and the goodness of your world, to which everyone you know also has access. There is a great love here for you. And as always, we remain joyously, stubbornly in fact, in the vortex.